Shalum. Shalom and welcome. Welcome to the channel. If you're tuning in for the first time, my name is Symmanayah, and these are words I'm compelled to present before an awakening set-apart nation. Before I get into this message, I want to say that the views expressed in these words do not necessarily reflect the views of the owners, managers, shareholders, and or sponsors of this media content. With that said, let's get started. My brothers and sisters, have you ever driven or rode in a vehicle on the highway and it was congested? And because of the congestion, it took you longer to get to your destination. Did you ever wish that it was not as congested? You ever go to an airport and it's congested with people traveling, some traveling for emergencies, some traveling for vacations, and various other reasons? Have you ever went to a train station and it was congested, filled with commuters trying to get back and forth to work and for various other reasons? Well, I say to you, my brothers and sisters, did you not wish that it wasn't so congested? Well, I want to say, my brothers and sisters, end times are here. Things are becoming intense. Climate change is real. Signs of the times are real. The times of our final gathering will prove to be real. With that said, my brothers and sisters, there are many among us who truly desire to discern what the voice of the Almighty Father has to say regarding what we must do, how we should respond, what path should we be taking to draw closer to Him and to magnify our worship and obedience to Him. And I say to you, it is important for us to realize how we are influenced in our actions. And oftentimes there are two major gates that bring influence to us: our eyes and our ears. This segment is about mic, attention, and media. Let's get into it. In the past, my brothers and sisters, there were words often to decide the battles of those who command the pulpit. In the churches, it used to be called pulpit whippings, where people were eager to get up to the pulpit where they can speak to the crowd, so to speak. And young people and old people eager to say, I'm called to the ministry, so they can speak to the crowd. And if it was things that they disagreed on that was going on in that congregation, they would criticize and bring criticism while in the pulpit. This was known as pulpit whippings, my brothers and sisters. They would use it to talk about other fellowships or other churches. Today, many have moved to using the mic and gain attention in media. Using the mic to gain attention in the media to echo their words of criticism or sometimes praise. These have become the tools of battling positions of belief for those who desire, my brothers and sisters, to be heard. We see, whether it be YouTube, Facebook, whether it be Patreon, Instagram, all the various types of media sources, my brothers and sisters, people are gaining access to the mic and using it. But I've yet to see a word of caution given to the brothers and sisters who command the mic. For there are those who command it for attention, and there are those who receive set-apart convictions to speak forward. I say to you, O Yahusha, when we choose how we spend our time, Do we give thought to what we are hearing, what we're speaking? Do we give thought to the attention we're giving or getting on this media platform? Be mindful of these words, for I have yet to see serious instructions given to those who seek attention using the mic or medium. Consider these words, O Yahusha, for they state in Romans 12, 1 through 5, I call upon you, therefore, brothers, through the compassion of the Almighty One, to present your bodies a living offering, set apart, well-pleasing to the Almighty One, your reasonable worship. Now I'm reading from the Scripture Version 2009. King James, I think, say, present your bodies a living sacrifice. And it goes on to say, and do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you prove what is the good and well-pleasing and perfect desire of the Almighty One. And I say Almighty One because Yahuwah is the Almighty One. There's no plurality. There are not multiple mighty ones. And we who serve him and are used by him understand and acknowledge that he is the Almighty One. It says, do not be conformed to the world. So though, when it comes to religion or fellowships, though we've come away from the pulpit whippings for those who have become awakened, many have become conformed to this world by still using the strategy of pulpit whippings. We should discern what the Spirit of Yahusha is saying to us. Sometimes open rebuke is necessary, and sometimes there are steps for dealing with reproving or restoring a brother and sister or a sister. The third verse, I'm in the 12th chapter of Romans, say, for I say through the favor which has been given to me, to everyone who is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he should think, but to think soberly, as the Almighty One has given to each a measure of belief. For as we have many members in one body, but all members do not have the same function, so we, the many, are one body in Messiah, and members each one of one. Each member of one another. Yahusha, you might say, why is there a need to talk about this? In our eagerness to gain attention, in our eagerness to speak out, many are doing it absent of fearing Yahuwah. You see, for you may hear me talk often about Proverbs 1:7 that say the fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and discipline. And I quote that, my brothers and sisters, because we must understand the fear of Yahuwah brings pause. We should pray. We should seek to gain confirmation that the Almighty Father wants us to present something before the mic, before one another. Not to gain attention of ourselves, but to direct attention to He who is the Almighty One. For you see, my brothers and sisters, those who just jump out there to speak out, those who cloud and crowd social media, some are tools that the wicked one will use to bring about wicked leaven, like the crowded highways or railways or airports. Some are flooding social media. There's only so many minutes in an hour, so many hours in a day, so many days in a week, and so forth. With that said, my brothers and sisters, if everyone crowds the different media for communicating, we can only focus on so much at a time. And if we are speaking outside of the guidance from the guidance and influence from the Almighty Father, then we contribute to unnecessary obstacles in the way of conveying what the Almighty Father wants us to present. It would do us good to realize the importance of these words, my brothers and sisters. Come with me to Luke 12th chapter. Luke 12th chapter. For it reads, "And that servant who knew his master's desire and did not prepare, nor did according to his desire, shall be beaten with many stripes." How many people are jumping out there on the mic unprepared, not seeking the desire of the Almighty Father, but more so seeking attention? Where are the warnings and encouragement to those who speak? A slang would be to slow your roll or to be cautious. Don't be over anxious, overly eager. I see speakers, teachers, mores speak with extreme charisma, and they display emotions that one would say can mislead people because they speak with confidence but are confidently wrong, contradicting their own words, because all too often while they're on that mic, where they're in that position to speak to two or more, they want to give the illusion that they have the answers and that they know better. Sometimes they fail to show any pause in their words. It says in the 48th verse, I'm in the 12th chapter of Luke, "But he who did not know yet did what deserved flogging shall be beaten with few. And everyone to whom much is given," listen here, "everyone to whom much is given, from him much shall be demanded. And to whom much has been entrusted, from him much more shall be asked." So the Almighty Father gives us things. It comes with responsibilities. We must realize, O Yahusha, do not take the mic for granted. Do not take the attention that one give us when two or more are gathered and they yield to our speaking. Do not take that attention for granted. Let us not abuse media. Let us learn how to examine and discern the voice that guides our footsteps, the voice that directs our attention to what is necessary to grow stronger. I encourage each of us to pause and pray before eagerly pursuing the use of might, taking advantage of one's attention, or abuse of the media. And if one is doing that in this congested world of communication, what are we missing out if we are distracted by the unnecessary? Let us be mindful, O Yahusha. Discipline is promised by the Almighty Father. A refinement is coming. Corrections are coming. And we must realize that in some instances, our emotions will be challenged. Our behaviors will be challenged. It would do us good to realize assignments come with responsibilities. Let us be mindful of these words. Come with me to the 3rd chapter of James. I'm going to read 1 through 9 and continue on in that 3rd chapter. But let's read 1 through 9. James chapter 3, 1 through 9. It says, "Not many of you should become teachers, my brothers, knowing that we shall receive greater judgment." Let me pause on that. Knowing that we shall receive greater judgment. How many people are jumping on the mic? How many people are commanding the attention of others? How many people are abusing media, not realizing that a greater responsibility will receive a greater judgment? What do you think that greater judgment resembles? What do you think it looks like? It will look Like individuals who truly seek to grow in maturity, when they stumble or fall, when we stumble or fall, we seek forgiveness. We turn and repent and be renewed. It will look like individuals, when they receive judgment, who are not seeking to obey the Almighty Father, fighting, trying to justify their egos, their self-esteem, their positions. We must begin to look at, when we're reading the scripture, seek the life and ask ourselves, what are the characteristics of what it's describing? It goes on in the second verse, for we all stumble in many matters. If anyone does not stumble in word, he is a perfect man, able also to bridle the entire body. That's describing that man that is walking filled with the Spirit, walking in total obedience. But even for a moment, there will come a time when he will stumble or fall. We will stumble or fall, because the flesh always war against the Spirit. He goes on to say, look, we put bits in the mouths of horses for them to obey us, and we turn their body. Look at the ships too. Although they are so big and are driven by strong winds, they are turned by a very small rudder wherever the pilot intends. It goes on to say, so too the tongue is a little member, yet boasts greatly. See how a little fire kindles a great forest. And the tongue is a fire, the world of unrighteousness. Among our members, the tongue is set, the one defiling the entire body and setting on fire the wheel of life. And it is set on fire by Gehenna. For every kind of beast and bird, of reptile and creatures of the sea, is tamed and has been tamed by mankind. But no man is able to tame the tongue. It is unruly, evil, filled with deadly poison. With it we bless our Almighty One and Father, and with it we curse men who have been made in the likeness of the Almighty One. Men who have been made in the likeness. The tongue can be a dangerous thing, my brothers and sisters. There's more. Let me continue. He goes on to say, I'm still in the 3rd chapter of James. Out of the same mouth proceed blessings and cursing. My brothers, this should not be so. And for the set apart ones, it will not always be so, because we know that the Almighty Father disciplines those whom he loves. And he will bring correction. And we will learn how to manage this tongue. It says, does the fountain send forth the sweet and the bitter from the same opening? My brothers, is a fig tree able to bear olives or grapevine figs? So neither is a fountain able to make salt and sweet water. Who is wise and understanding among you? Let him show by his good behavior his works in meekness of wisdom. But if you have bitter jealousy, self-seeking in your hearts, do not boast against and lie against the truth. This is not the wisdom coming down from above, but it is earthly, unspiritual, demonic. For where jealousy and self-seeking are, there is confusion in every foul deed. But the wisdom from above is first clean, then peaceful, gentle, ready to obey, filled with compassion and good fruits, without partiality and without hypocrisy. And the fruit of righteousness is sown in peace by those who make peace. Do we give these words consideration? When we command the mic, when we receive attention from those who are willing to listen, do we take into consideration that the words we speak are akin to wisdom and understanding? Do we bring forth knowledge that is fruitful and beneficial for us worshiping and obeying the Almighty Father, for us to contribute towards the strengthening of a set-apart nation? If we desire, my brothers and sisters, to pursue any office or position, let us be mindful of all the details regarding that pursuit. What responsibilities come? What tasks we face? What discipline will make us better? I present these words often, my brothers and sisters, for focus is an important factor. How many times have we listened to someone command the mic, gain attention, use media, and as they speak, they say, I lost track of my thought? How many times have we seen brothers and sisters lose focus? Consider this, Yahusha. It happens. Sometimes one get caught up and emotional, and they escape being prayerful, and they start doing things, in some cases, just to keep themselves awake. They lose focus. Consider Proverbs 4:20-27, of which I mention often. It says, my son, listen to my words, incline your ear to my sayings. Let them not depart from your eyes. Guard them in the midst of your heart, for they are life to those who find them, and healing to all their flesh. Watch over your heart with all diligence. This heart is talking about the inward man. For out of it are the sources of life. For our inward man is joined with Yahuah by his word, Yahusha. Thus we learn in John 14:26 that Yahuah sent his set-apart spirit in Yahusha's name to teach us, to guide us, to comfort us, to help us. It says, turn away from you a crooked mouth and put perverse lips far from you. What do you think happens for someone who gains the mic recklessly? Someone who gets our attention and abuse that time we give them. What do you think happens if they're not speaking what is true? Because they're over anxious, unlearned, possibly undiscerning, or fail to realize what pray without ceasing means. It says, let your eyes look forward and your eyelids look straight before you. Consider the path of your feet, and all your ways are established. Do not turn to the right or the left. Turn your foot away from evil. See, when we consider the path of our feet, I am compelled to believe what's most important is that we remember that man doesn't live by bread alone, as it mentions in Deuteronomy 8:3, but every word that proceeds out of the mouth of Yahuah. So every word that proceeds out of his mouth, should we not ask, what does he want us to do with it? What is he asking us to do? Shouldn't that be our first step in praying to he who gives us breath and a heartbeat? And weigh the words that come to mind to speak, to present content when we have the attention of others, whether it be media or in person. Let's remember these words, Yahusha. And I know it might sound like I'm being redundant, but at least we take a degree of caution how we use the mic, how we gain attention, how we use media. At least we take a degree of caution and be prayerful. We will begin to experience things that will not be pleasant, O Yahusha. Come with me to Proverbs 8:17. Proverbs 8:17. For it says, I love those who love me, and those who earnestly seek me do find me. Are we earnestly seeking the Almighty Father before we grab the mic? Sure, we must examine. Sure, we must test the spirit to see if it's indeed the set-apart spirit of Yahuah. But let us not be reckless in our pursuit of obedience, in our pursuit of attention, in our use of the mic and or media. Proverbs 14:6 says, "Scoffers shall seek wisdom, but find none." Is this talking about those who have the mic, who want to just scoff at others, criticize others because they have the mic, because they have the attention of crowds, or because they have the subscribers or the audience? Are there those among us who are just scoffers, void of demonstrating wisdom? You'll see. There are those who constantly and eagerly run around boasting, believing that they have it, and saying, "I'll debate anyone." Debate, debate, debate. Is that ordered by the Almighty Father? Or does that reflect individuals who are pursuing their own self-interest to prop themselves up, to prop up the knowledge that they believe that they have? It says, "But knowledge is swift to him who has understanding." You see, my brothers and sisters, we must understand that this occurs by the wisdom and the guidance from the Almighty Father. Matthew 6:33 say, "But seek first the reign of the Almighty One and his righteousness, and all these shall be added to you." Seeking him first in all that we do, O Yahusha, and things will be added. Ask, go to Matthew, that was Matthew 6:33. Matthew 7:7 say, "Ask and it shall be given to you. Seek and you shall find. Knock and it shall be opened to you." Do we see a demonstration of the results of individuals who sought what the word of Yahuah has to say about a matter? There are those who will say, "The Father told me," "The Ruach told me," Ruach meaning spirit. Some will say Ruach HaKodesh. The set-apart spirit of Yahuah is defined as Ruach, but his name is Yahuah, and he sent his word in Yahusha's name to teach us, to guide us, to bring things to our remembrance. I believe that in the fear of the Almighty Yahuah, we should demonstrate a degree of pause in prayer as we speak. Now, I'm not saying sit there and every 30 seconds or wait 4 minutes before you say something. The speed of communication with the Spirit is swifter than we realize. But we can do it, O Yahusha. Study and pray, and the Spirit of Yahuah will bring his words to remembrance that will validate what we hear and or see. It will validate it as set apartness, or it will say it is wrong and wicked. You see, even though there are those who command the mic and our attention, those who use media, including myself, we can stumble or fall. But those who are recipients of what's being said have an obligation to weigh the matter. Is it set apart? Does it contain wisdom, knowledge, and understanding? Or does it just satisfy the speaker's ego and position? I have witnessed individuals who incorrectly choose to guard Shabbat from darkness to darkness. And so many look at it and says that light comes out of darkness. But they fail to realize that the scriptures say that Yahuah created everything, and that Yahuah is light, that he is the beginning and the end. So it begins with light and it ends with light. If you doubt that, go to Revelations, and you'll see there was no need of the sun or the moon, for the brightness, the brilliance of Yahuah was there. So it started with light and it ended with light. But those who incorrectly follow the pattern and who have been seduced because of large numbers at the mic, so to speak, large numbers who gain attention and push the agenda that Shabbat is when it gets dark until dark the next day, they are misleading individuals. And as a result of that, I've seen all types of behavior. I've seen individuals running to the store to hurry up and get home before it gets dark. I've seen individuals who celebrate and honor Shabbat from darkness to darkness, and they've worked most of daylight hours, and they come home in the evening and they're trying to do Shabbat like the day just begun, and they're fighting to stay awake. I've even seen individuals get animated, emotional, demonstrate childish behaviors to try to stay awake, thinking that they're fooling people. But I trust and believe there are listeners who identify. Look at these individuals. Some giggle and laugh. Some echo sentiments of movies and theater. Some criticize untimely, trying to stay awake to present a Shabbat lesson at night. My brothers and sisters, we will learn that we have been created in the image of Yahuah, and that he is the Father of lights. He is the consuming fire. He is the beginning and the end. He created us where our work cycle and routine happens during daylight hours. For at night we sleep, and we wake up the next day to start our routine again into that seventh cycle. My brothers and sisters, I believe that in the fear of the Almighty Yahuah, we should demonstrate a degree of pause in prayer, not act irrationally or childishly because we have the mic or one's attention. And I talk about this and echoed it. I wanted to put it up. Proverbs 1:7, I want to put it up because there are those who say, show me the script, show me the script. I don't know that. I don't know what he's talking about. He's just ranting. Proverbs 1:7 say, the fear of Yahuah is the beginning of knowledge. What do you think the fear of Yahuah resembles, my brothers and sisters? If you are afraid to touch a hot pan, wouldn't you look at it? Wouldn't you prepare yourself with what is necessary to remove a hot pan? If you was near a fire, wouldn't you prepare yourself and not just dive into it? For those who even try to put out a fire with the wrong substance, make things worse and are consumed by it, are burned by it. The fear of Yahuah, what does that resemble? At the very least, a pause. And in that pause, it may cause us to look, to listen, to discern what the Spirit is saying. And now we have the knowledge that brings about the wisdom and the discipline of how to govern ourselves righteously as led by him. Yashral, oh Yashral, there will be things spoken that will be difficult to change. Therefore, let us learn how to proceed cautiously. What I'm saying here, my brothers and sisters, is this. People are speaking, and those who are in the audience may be just passing through, passing by, may not listen to that person again. And if that person made a mistake, they cannot round up those who were listeners and correct the matter. The Spirit of Yahuah gives us wisdom on as we discover and discern that the mic holder, that the one that had our attention, that the one that used media or was live before us made a mistake, then all at best we could do if we don't hear from them again is testify of that erroneous content that was presented. Never forget what is spoken is not always what people hear. People oftentimes are listening to speak. They're in a position, they act like they're listening to you and waiting for you to stop so they can speak. This often happens in smaller groups or live presentations over media. People waiting to speak opposed to listen to what you're actually saying. Our listening, reading, and speaking skills vary based on how we have been programmed and taught over the years, whether it be through the home, through the schools, through the fellowships, through the clubs and association, or what, the job. All these things shape how we communicate to one another. With this in mind, checks and balances are needed to establish matters. Do not just fall for what is said, my brothers and sisters. Let us visit these words as I gradually move towards an end. Hear these words, O Yahusha. Deuteronomy chapter 19, verse 15 through 20 reads this. Deuteronomy 19th chapter, 15 through 20 reads, one witness does not rise up against a man concerning any crookedness or any sin that he commits. At the mouth of two witnesses or at the mouth of three witnesses, a matter is established. Now keep in mind, my brothers and sisters, Yahusha was ordered to be together, not scattered. So you don't just grab anybody that say, okay, I'll be a witness, and they do not have the skill sets, the discerning abilities to judge a matter. Or otherwise, you will have what we see, majority rule. If everybody believes this, then that must be true. That's not what the scripture is saying. It's talking about let a matter be established by two or three witnesses. Witnesses that are pursuing the will of the Almighty Father is what it means. It says when a malicious witness rise up against any man to accuse him of turning aside, then both men who have the dispute shall stand before Yahuah, before the priests and the judges who serve in those days. See, notice it says stand before Yahuah first, before the priests, that's leadership, and judges. Those are obedient ones equipped to judge, who serve the Almighty Father. And the judges shall diligently search and see if the witness is a false witness who has falsely accused his brother. Then you shall do to him as he thought to have done to his brother. Thus you shall purge the evil from your midst. And let the rest hear and fear, and never again do this evil matter in your midst. Do you know, O Yahusha, there are those who command the mic, who gets our attention. There's a lot who bear false witness, unlearned, undiscerning, or overly eager, overstepping their bounds, giving something. In some cases, they may have received the word from the Almighty Father, but they say more than what he's given them. They were so excited they added to. They were caught up in momentum that they felt they needed to add to. They forget how the word talks about one planting, one watering, Yahuah giving the increase. They forget their stages. They raise their foot up, and they bring it down and raise the next one and proceed forward, without realizing sometimes the Almighty Father will say, all I want you to do is educate people to raise their foot up, because I have another that will bring a platform so when they move the next foot, they step up closer to me in spirit. Let us not be victims of being caught in momentum. We get so excited in the presence of others. We get so excited that we have the mic. We feed off that attention opposed to feeding off the living instructions from the Almighty Father. We must know when to stop, when to pause, when to say, I don't know. When to give credit to where credit is due before the Almighty Father and before the audience, the listener. Do not be overly eager or anxious, my brothers and sisters. Use wisdom versus being overtaken by unfruitful debates and disputes. Use wisdom. Do not get caught up that you've been granted the opportunity to command the mic. You've been granted the opportunity to have the attention. And do not think that we escape our responsibility because we say we posted a video or recording and nobody told them to click on it. The fact that it's out there, it comes with responsibility. So if you are one who are facing pain and regret, untimely health issues, or untimely problems, pray and seek to discern what could be the cause of this. It could be the fruit of recklessly handling the devices that allow you to present words to others. It could be the fruit of taking advantage of one's attention. It could be the fruit of abusing media. But it could also be an attack of the enemy, attacking you to get you to acquiesce or to yield to wicked influence. You see, O Yahusha, righteousness comes, and there are two battling factors. So before we conclude that it's one over the other, let us know the importance of praying without ceasing, fearing Yahuah, discerning what he is saying regarding the matter. Least we find ourselves in a position that we cannot turn back. We will make mistakes, O Yahusha. Let us repent and be renewed and press forward. Let us understand the power of the blood of the Lamb. This message is to bring attention as confusion and anxieties ramp up. Bring attention to the need to focus. Bring attention to not take for granted the opportunities we have to speak to one another in person, live. To give attention of how we use the mic, how we use media. Let us present things wisely, lest we be contributors to congesting that highway of communication. Are we obstacles or contributors? Pray, O Yahusha, for the Almighty Father is not mocked. Mic, attention, and media. I kept repeating this, for it is severe, it is serious, it brings joy and understanding, my brothers and sisters. Let us be mindful of what is necessary to do the will of the Almighty Father, to utilize the things that he's given us, and let us not take these things for granted. If you listen to this from the beginning to the end, I salute your patience and your tolerance. I salute your pursuit of set-apartness. I pray that this contributes towards growing closer to understanding the ways and desires of the Almighty Father as it relates to the tools presented before us and how to come away from any distractions, how to examine and weigh the matters to determine whether they are indeed of the Almighty Father. On that note, my brother, my sister, my family, I say to you, my prayer is that each of us grow stronger in discerning the voice of the Spirit of the Almighty Father, and that we move with wisdom towards those who are without. And I conclude by saying this to you, my brother, my sister, my family. Shalom. Shalom.